Welcome to the deep dive. Our sources this week are painting a picture of something much bigger than just AI getting faster. It feels like a fundamental shift.
It really does. We're talking about a regime change.
Exactly. We're officially leaving the age of, the helpful chatbot.
And entering the age of agentic AI. These are systems that can actually think for themselves, act, and even improve on their own, autonomously.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We need to extract what this massive shift really means.
Both technologically and, of course, commercially. We'll get into the foundational models, Google DeepMind SIMA 2, OpenAI's GPT-5.1.
And then we have to connect those technical leaps to what's happening in the real world. I mean, we're seeing predictions of a $450 billion value shift in enterprise.
Not to mention the explosive startup valuations and, on the flip side, these brand new, very sophisticated security threats that are already out there.
The scale of the news is it's huge. We're not talking about small incremental upgrades anymore.
Yeah.
These are massive generalist AI systems that are achieving real autonomy.
And the capital is chasing them relentlessly, which is why you see these unbelievable valuations. A startup like Cursor is suddenly worth tens of billions of dollars.
So what's really critical here, for you listening, is that this ability for AI to act on its own is immediately translating into market reality.
And into security challenges and massive efficiency gains. So we're going to focus on two things. First, what is this technical leap to autonomy? And second, what does it mean for your job, your company's security, and the whole financial landscape?
Okay, let's start there. Let's unpack that core technical leap. The idea of a generalist agent seems to be the key, and the big headline here has to be Google DeepMind SIMA 2.
It is.
What makes this system so different from what we've seen before?
Well, the real difference is in how it learns and where it can be applied. SIMA 2 is a Gemini-based agent, but unlike older models that were trained on, a static data set for one specific thing,
Right.
SIMA 2 learns through what they call self-play.
Self-play.
Yeah. The core insight is that it operates across 3D game worlds that it has never, ever seen before. These are chaotic, new environments.
So it's not just following a script.
Not at all. It's showing proactive strategies and, this is the crucial part, autonomous self-improvement. It gets better without a human constantly telling it what to do. It's moving beyond just following instructions to forming its own complex plans.
That distinction moving from just predicting to proactively strategizing in real time in a new environment, that really is the definition of agency, isn't it?
It is.
But at the same time, OpenAI has been working on the user-facing side of things with GPT-5.1. They brought in this new dynamic chat interface with 2 modes.
Yes, and this is a really smart response to what users actually need, which is a mix of efficiency and accuracy. They've introduced an instant mode for those quick-fire replies.
Great for simple questions.
Exactly. But the more powerful shift, I think, is the thinking mode. This forces the AI to go deeper, to do more considered reasoning. It gives you clearer explanations and solves complex problems without just, jumping to the first answer it finds.
So it lets the user match the AI's reasoning depth to the task at hand.
Precisely. It directly addresses that need professionals have for output they can actually rely on.
And the sources mention other practical improvements, too. Things like more natural conversations, better steerability, and much faster coding help.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this efficiency isn't just about quality. It's a cost revolution.
How so?
We're seeing intense competition just driving prices down like crazy. You look at a model like Hermes 4405B, it's advertising these super aggressive prices. We're talking something like 9 cents for 1 million input tokens.
That is incredibly cheap. It basically removes the cost barrier for large-scale adoption.
It makes it almost negligible.
But if they're getting cheaper to use from an outside service, are they also getting cheaper for companies to run themselves?
Absolutely, and this is where the hardware efficiency gains are they're stunning. We're seeing things like native INT4 quantization.
Okay, break that down. INT4 quantization.
Think of it like a super advanced compression for software. It makes a model like QME K2 about 4 times smaller than the old standard FP16, but, and this is key, it preserves the quality.
Yeah, you can run these really powerful models on much cheaper, less powerful hardware.
Which drastically cuts your cloud computing costs.
Okay, so we have smarter autonomous models that are becoming faster and way, way cheaper to run. If cheap, autonomous compute is the new foundation. Let's talk about the massive financial structure being built on top of it.
Right.
Why, if the compute is getting so cheap, are the valuations for the software built on top so high?
Because a company like Cursor isn't selling you raw compute. They're selling a reliable layer of agency. The sources noted that Cursor, the AI coding tool, just raised $2.3 billion,
tripling its valuation to nearly $30 billion.
with $1 billion in annualized revenue. Developers are paying for the huge productivity boost that this coding agent gives them. That's realized financial value.
And we can actually measure this now. That Upwork API study found that human AI teams can boost project completion by up to 70%.
It's quantifiable ROI. We even saw a company, Milestone, raise $10 million just to track this stuff, to measure an agent's real contribution to coding productivity and software quality.
So AI is moving from being, a suggestion box to a core measurable member of the team?
That's a great way to put it. And if you look beyond software development, the economic transformation is staggering, especially in a complex area like financial services.
Okay, detail that for us, because $450 billion is a number that's hard to get your head around.
It is. But AI agents are expected to generate up to $450 billion in economic value just in financial services by 2028.
Wow.
And here's what's critical. The big firms are choosing to partner with Google and OpenAI. They're not trying to build these generalist agents themselves.
And we're seeing this roll out now.
We are. Intuit is putting AI agents into QuickBooks to save small business owners hours every week on bookkeeping, project oversight. Cash App is launching a money bot for its 50 million users.
Automating the foundational tasks.
Exactly, the stuff that used to eat up so much valuable human time.
That is immense. But it's not just finance and code. Creativity is also becoming agentic.
The creative breakthroughs are amazing. Look at World Lab's Marble model. It generates editable, interactive 3D worlds directly from a prompt.
Not just a static image.
No, it's a world you can immediately jump into and manipulate. It's fueling these wild projects like spaghetti worlds. It's totally changing how digital worlds get built.
And even huge IP holders are getting in on it. Disney Plus has plans to integrate AI tools so subscribers can make their own short videos using Disney's content library.
Which democratizes creation with IP that was, until now, completely locked down.
And for researchers and knowledge workers,
the systems can now handle huge tasks on their own through orchestration. Take Kimi Deep Researcher. It organizes a team of sub-agents to create these comprehensive mega reports.
so the AI is acting like a project manager.
A highly efficient one. It divides a massive research task and assigns parts of it to smaller, specialist AIs, then pulls it all together into a final report.
It's immense power. But that kind of power has to come with an equally immense risk. Let's shift to security.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Our sources point to the first large-scale cyber attack, largely run by AI. What's the reality of this new kind of warfare?
The evidence points directly at state-backed actors. And this is a critical transition. Sophisticated attackers are now using agentic AI not just as a tool, but as the core engine that plans, adapts, and executes the entire attack.
And we have specific examples.
We do. We know that Chinese hacking groups have used Anthropic's advanced AI agents specifically to streamline their cyber espionage. The main takeaway for security pros is that the speed and complexity of these attacks are just exploding. They're moving faster than any human defense team can respond.
And this threat is just as dangerous internally, right? Because organizations are deploying these powerful agents inside their own walls.
And that's creating a massive crisis of confidence. A recent Rubrik survey found that nearly 90% of organizations use AI agents in their identity infrastructure.
Okay, but here's the kicker.
More than half of those same organizations expect those agents to cause 50% of their cyber attacks next year. They see the upside, but they're also bracing for huge agent-caused security failures.
And then there's the shadow AI problem on top of that, where the leadership is moving faster than the security teams can even vet the tools.
That's it, exactly. 2/3 of C-suite leaders are just bypassing the approved AI tools, which of course opens the organization up to all sorts of compliance risks and breaches.
But new security tools are emerging to fight this.
They are. You have things like TrojAI's Defend for MCP, which is basically a firewall for your AI agents' decision-making processes. Make sure they don't go rogue.
A firewall for thought processes. I like that.
And then there's Sparkle's STLS AI, which focuses on securing the communication between autonomous agents, because as these agents start talking to each other to coordinate, those conversations have to be completely locked down.
So we've covered the tech, the security. But the legal and policy showdowns are also heating up fast. That big copyright battle between the New York Times and OpenAI just took a huge turn.
A massive turn. A U.S. court ordered OpenAI to hand over 20 million anonymized ChatGPT conversations to the New York Times.
Which sets a major precedent.
It does. It really highlights this tension,
Yeah.
the need for massive amounts of data to train these models versus the growing legal demand for transparency and user confidentiality.
And we're seeing direct challenges to consumer privacy in the courts, too.
Absolutely. Google is now facing a lawsuit that alleges its Gemini AI was spying on Gmail, Chat, and Meet users without their consent. The legal system is catching up fast.
And we're still seeing basic integrity failures.
We are. The Dawn newspaper had that backlash for accidentally publishing a raw ChatGPT prompt, and health experts are still warning about algorithmic bias and privacy gaps in AI for healthcare. Data integrity is still a huge pain point.
So we've gone from autonomous agents like SIMA 2 learning through self-play to a $450 billion financial shift, all the way to AI being used in high-stakes cyber warfare. What's the final synthesis here?
I think it's clear we're past the inflection point. The dichotomy is stark. On one hand, AI agents offer this immense quantifiable value. That $450 billion in finance is very real.
But on the other hand,
they introduce these unprecedented security risks, often state-backed, that operate at speeds humans just cannot match. These systems are now truly autonomous, and they're everywhere.
which demands a rapid strategic rethink from everyone listening. And to that point, we saw two radically contrasting predictions in the sources that I think you, the listener, really need to try and reconcile.
Right.
First, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman predicted that AI will enable billion-dollar firms to run with minimal human staff.
Which is that vision of radical reduction, right? Ultimate automated efficiency. It suggests maybe fewer opportunities for people inside those huge new companies.
But then at the same time, you have Andrew Ng reassuring newcomers that it's still not too late to contribute meaningfully to the field.
Exactly.
So you have this simultaneous vision of radical workforce reduction at the top, but also broad professional opportunity for individuals who are willing to adapt. What does that friction, that contradiction mean for your professional roadmap over the next 5 years? Are you building the new tools, or are you preparing to manage the drastically smaller team that runs the fully autonomous billion-dollar company? That's the question we're thinking about until our next deep dive.